Welcome to Plugtalk4. You know how we get there. I know y'all used to seeing me in the car doing my thing. Today I got a special guest. So we in the house, man. And I want to introduce my special guest today, man. Freeway Rick Ross. Peace and blessings, my brother.
You already know.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming through, man. Happy to have you in the building.
Glad to be here.
That part. Listen, man. I like to get straight into it, man. If you don't mind, the first thing I want to ask you about is Harry, yo. Have you talked to him?
One time. It was,
I mean, after the, I know it was a situation, when you kind of spoke some things you didn't want to speak on Vlad.
Yeah.
He had an issue with it. Have y'all spoke since then?
Yeah, briefly.
Cool.
So we good. I mean, from what he said, we good. We ain't sit down and it's crazy, because we were cellies.
I heard that, yeah.
For a few months in MCC and
what year was that?
91, 92 maybe. Maybe 90. I don't know. I don't remember, man. I've been in so many fucking jails and so many times and so many cells. I can't remember, but I know, we spent some time together in a setting that brings you so close that,
Absolutely.
you like brothers.
Absolutely. Yo, I've been in prison, bro. I did 6 years state. No fed. And I'm just imagining being in the same module or pod, and then you got Harry and Freeway Rick Ross in the cell together. That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And that was, Harry did a lot for me, because I was still new to jail. And,
right.
And he laced me up a lot. Matter of fact, I really didn't want to do the music business. When we talked, I was talking more about the sports stuff. I wanted to get more into sports. And he was doing the music. And I was telling him, I really don't want to do the music. But once I saw them hit, with 187 on Undercover Cop, when I got back to FCI Phoenix, I got on the phone with King T and I started calling all the dudes that I knew that did music and was like, man, I need an artist. And that's how I found the Alcoholics.
Yeah, I was about to ask you had affiliation with the Alcoholics, right?
Yeah. I introduced them to Fave, who eventually got him signed to Loud Records.
I heard that you would have had him signed if you would have went to the hole.
I wouldn't.
Man, I know about that.
It would have been my artist. I probably would have been Loud Records. Well, the first artist off of Loud Records was one of my girl's cousins. Madcap. I don't know if you ever heard of Madcap. It was Coke and what was her little cousin name? Man?
I'm not familiar with much of the music. I heard the names before.
Yeah, Madcap was the first group on Loud Records. Was the first group that Steve Riskin signed.
And then what came shortly after that? Alcoholics, Wu-Tang.
Yeah, Alcoholics. From what I understand is when the Alcoholics was on tour, somebody gave the Alcoholics a Wu-Tang tape, and they brought it back to L.A. and convinced Steve to sign them. I heard Steve didn't want to sign a Wu-Tang. Well, they had a different sound than the West Coast sound.
They had a different sound from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was different. For sure. That's crazy. So
I've been having my finger on the pulse of music, I used to hang out with Otis Smith and Dick Griffey. You remember Dick Griffey?
Oh, yeah. My dad was big on that. I had a father in my life, so.
Yeah. They doing a documentary right now on the attorney. What is his name, man?
The attorney?
Yeah, there used to be. He was attorney for Dick. I can't think of his name right now. Man.
Yeah, I know you ain't talking about Kenner.
No, not Kenner. Kenner wasn't Dick Griffey's attorney. That was Death Row's attorney.
Yeah.
He was a criminal attorney. he was representing Harry and Bo down in MVP. David Kenner was.
So that's how Kenner got connected.
That's why he got in from the criminal side.
Situation.
Yeah, well, he got in through Harry. Harry brought Kenner into the picture.
Really?
Yeah. Kenner wasn't in the picture. Harry brought Kenner into the picture.
So what type of lawyer was Kenner before that?
Kenner was a criminal lawyer.
Well, if he was a criminal, he's already in criminal defense then, right?
Right, criminal defense.
Okay. But he brought him into the hip hop world.
He brought him into the hip hop.
Yeah, so he made him.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That's
That's why I say, Harry showed me a lot of stuff when the short time that we were cellies. I never could take away from that. And the brother's just smart.
Absolutely.
He's a smart brother, and I admire what he do.
It shows me you're a very humble brother. First off, to admire what he do, and then because there's so many people that admire what you do. So when you see guys on these certain levels, and then they showing respect to other guys that are on them levels, that's for me, because I never made it to none of y'all level, but I followed in y'all footsteps. We knew about you. I'm from Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, first off. So your name, before I knew what you looked like, your name rang bells.
I used to be in Dayton.
Tell me about it, man.
I used to talk to you. I got my first arrest was Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, yeah.
So, Cincinnati and Dayton is so close. And then when I would be in Cincinnati, everybody would be talking about Dayton, Ohio. That's where the real gangsters is at. And that's where they really doing it at. And I had to go up there and see what it was about, right? Well, dig this here.
Shout out to Dayton real quick.
I'm rolling through Dayton, right? And it hit me. Dayton, wire wheels. I say, pull over. So we go to the phone, boom, 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 boom. I hit the phone. Hey, I'm looking for Dayton Wire Wheels. We gave him the phone number. We pulled right up to Dayton Wire Wheels. I started buying wheels from him, sending them out here, because them wheels was hot. I had a time wheel shop too.
Yeah. I've seen.
Yeah,
I did a little research on it.
I had a real nice time wheel shop here in LA, and so I started buying Dayton's. I put a fake shop up and said, because they wouldn't let me buy them from Dayton and send them to California, because dude already had the contract locked. He had them locked in California, so they wouldn't go for that. So I built a fake shop in Cincinnati, and then I ship them to Cincinnati and ship them to California, and I cut the market, because the wheels at that time was like $2,400 a set.
Absolutely.
And then I cut it down to $1,900 a set. Started blowing them out the door.
What was the number you was buying them for?
What was Dayton selling me them wheels for? I think they was letting them go for like $1,200.
You made $3,000 a whop off every set.
Yeah, so
y'all was big on it. Y'all wanted the cheese balls. See, like when we was from, we wore like 17, 18, 19 once we started really getting in the rims. But y'all was riding 13s.
Oh yeah, they were like the little wheels. The 12s.
Yeah, the cheese. We call them cheese balls.
With the 520s.
Yeah, they motherfuckers call that shit cheese balls, bro.
Yeah, I used to sell the 520s. All that. I was there. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. That's crazy. Shout out to the city, man. Y'all hear what he talking about, man? This is history, man. He know what he talking about, man. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. I pulled up, man.
What you think about the
Ohio? I like Ohio, man. I had a lot of love. I get a lot of love out of Ohio,
Oh, for sure.
I really liked it because it was kind of country and city at the same time, so.
It's the perfect blend.
Yeah, it was a blend. And when I went down there, it was safe. The city was safe. Wasn't no gang banging. It was just a mellow little town,
The concept is different from what goes on out here. We didn't have a gang culture, but we had the same elements because you got dope boys and you got robbery boys. Let's just tell my homie that all the time. Like, that would be equivalent to your blood, your crip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we had the same, smaller city, but our rates for murder, violence was high as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of money going through that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of money going through that motherfucker.
And the difference down there is that they don't have. What I notice about Cincy, they make a lot of money and they don't have things to spend their money on.
No, absolutely not.
You know, the rent was cheap. Everything was pretty affordable down there. I made more money per kilo in Cincinnati than I did anywhere else. Maybe other than St. Louis.
Did you have some family that turned you on to Ohio? Like, how did you get turned on to Ohio? With you being from LA, like, what? You know what I'm saying? The only LA connection that most people are familiar with mainstream is Bone Thugs and and Eazy-E. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What turned you onto the O with you being the guy that you are?
Well, I had a girl who, her dad and stepmoms was from there. So I've been shooting her dad some work.
And the dad was in the game.
Yeah, man. Everybody want to be in the game.
Yeah, Ohio for sure.
When you make it look good, you know what I did to the game is I made it look good. You know.
You damn sure did.
I was taking young boys and other young boys who want to be like them. You know, because they would have the cars, the jewelry, you know, all of the necessities or the accessories that attracts people to that line of work.
Absolutely.
You know, me, I wasn't really attractive. Well, even I was to a certain extent because my friends, when I first started selling, none of my, there was a group of us, right, that probably who would be called the Freeway Boys. And none of them wanted to get into cocaine when I first started.
So, okay, I'm glad you said that. So how did you get them to believe and want to invest themselves into that line of work at a time when it, like, I'm 43. How old are you?
64.
So it's a 20-year difference between me and you. So when I grew up, you know, crack was already jumping, dope was already jumping.
Everybody wanted to be in.
Everybody wanted in. You know what I'm saying? It was already a lifestyle at the time period. So at 92, 93.
Rapping about it in records.
Yeah, I'm talking
I went to Otis Smith. Otis Smith used to own Beverly Glen Music.
Okay.
He's the guy that found Anita Baker.
Okay.
Bobby Womack, Johnny Taylor.
Yep.
He found those artists. Rick James too. He took Rick James to Motown.
That's a lot of coke right there.
So when I took a rap group to them that was talking about selling cocaine, and they wouldn't touch it.
Wow.
But this was like 84-ish. And they was like, nah, we ain't touching that.
I started listening to rap around 85. The first time I can remember hearing about any dope moves or any dope selling on a record was NWA. Maybe prematurely NWA.
Well, no.
DJ Quick.
No.
Okay.
Master Spade.
See,
you never listened to Spade.
You got to think when Spade was coming out, I'm probably like 5'6", so I didn't tap into the underground till about 90, 91, 92. I'm getting into like UG.
Well, you know, Spade was talking about dope early on.
Yeah.
Tiny T. You remember Tiny T?
Nah.
The Batarram. Everybody in LA was playing the Batarram. You know this.
I wasn't in LA yet. I was in country as Ohio.
Yeah, but them songs they didn't cross state lines.
They did, but when they did cross state lines, I was probably too young. I wasn't in that field yet. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the clubs. I wasn't getting money. So for me, it was kind of a wave I missed. You know what I mean?
Ice-T? You know Ice-T was talking
absolutely.
He was talking about
for sure. Okay, so premature to NWA, DJ Quick, I could definitely vouch for Ice-T. I was listening to Ice-T for sure.
Yeah, but Spade, King T, Tiny T, they was all talking about You know, and King T told me, you know, man, come on, man, get into this to this hip hop with us, man, and I just I don't know, I missed it, man, I missed it. I'm listening to these dudes who were vets in the game. You know, they were already putting out hits and stuff, and I thought they knew what they was doing. You know, they had platinum records and so forth. So
game had changed.
I went with their theory instead of sticking to what I knew that I should have been doing.
So with you being cellmates with Harry, kind of reintroduced you to something you was already introduced to before, but in a new way.
Yeah. When I saw Harry had done it, and I was like, damn, I can do it too.
I should have been did it.
Yep.
I should have been.
And then after that, you know, you start seeing the Master P's and the Puff Daddies.
That was when Master P came out. I was driving cars. I was getting that money.
Yeah.
Well, not money.
I was sitting in a jail cell, watching, you know, studying the game.
I know that feeling as well.
And I still had a shot too. You know, when I got out, I got out in '93 for 6 months, and Faye, the one who I told you got the Alcoholics signed, he took me to Jimmy Iovine.
So you met Jimmy?
I met Jimmy, yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't know what to ask Jimmy for. I met Jimmy. I also knew the guy who used to, what was his name? Ed Eckstein. He was the president of, one of the record labels. What was the company that he was the president of? But the government didn't let me stay out of jail long enough to really get going. I only stayed out 6 months before I was set up again. You know, my partner had started offering me cocaine. And I broke weak, you know, even though I had said that I wasn't going to go back to selling cocaine, but I was building this theater. You know, I had a theater over on Crenshaw and Adams.
You still got that, right?
No, I lost that. I lost it when I went back to prison. And I wanted this theater to be like the hub of hip-hop. You know, where I was going to cut it off at, I said this theater, it held 4,500 people. So I said, this will be where every rapper, when they come to town, gonna want to be on this stage.
Absolutely.
You know, because it was so cool.
Yep.
And, you know...
4,500 is huge, man. You could...
Oh, man. That theater probably worth like $20 million right now. You can't even buy that. You couldn't even buy that property for no amount of money, probably. The church owns it now, so, you know...
money makes shit move.
Yeah, but you can't buy it. You'd have to get them so much money, it would be crazy. It was the building was
well, hip hop has evolved to arenas
40-some thousand square feet. The building was ginormous.
But at the time you had it, that would have been perfect for the growth of hip hop.
Oh, absolutely.
So you would have been a huge part of every one of these rappers who were underground building. You know, they would have had to come see you out here in LA to get certain things done and get certain bags.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I was with Frank Hensley from Universal. When I had the awards, you know, I got a Gurge Award the other day for humanitarian, and I went because he asked me to go. He's the vice president of labor relations over at Universal, and you know, when we was together, and I was asking him, I was like, man, why are you messing with me? And he said, I feel that you're going to be the next one. You're going to be the one who find the next Uzi Bird and all of these dudes coming up. I really feel that you're going to be the one to find it. So that meant a lot to me to hear him say that. You know, that he had that kind of confidence in my ability to maneuver around in this industry. But I know myself too, right? I always find a way to get to the top. You know,
I can believe that.
I just do. You know, just like with this weed, I feel like right now, I ain't making the money that some of these dudes are making, but I really feel that I got this game in a chokehold to where I can literally do whatever I want to do in this weed business, and it's gonna start to show in a couple more months and years, where people gonna be like, wow, he clawed his way up in there, you know. And I didn't have no money to get started. You know, I got started in the weed business with $500. So people who be saying that you can't do it, you got to be rich, you got to be that. I'm like, no, I wasn't rich. You know, I really didn't have nothing. Matter of fact, when I started in the weed business, shit, they was giving me eviction notices at my apartment. You know, telling me to pay or quit. So,
hey man, if you got what it takes to make it to a upper echelon level, prior to, you got what it takes to do it again. You can't come from the ground up and not know what it takes.
oh yeah. You got
time changes, things changes. You may have to reinvent yourself to get acclimated with what's going on today, but you have what it takes. You know what I mean?
Oh, no doubt. And I know that now. You know, I know that with you know, from the cocaine game. Like I said, when I started cocaine was luck.
When you say it was luck,
because I didn't know what I was doing. You know?
Who? Okay, so this is what I'm saying to you, brother. Who the fuck knew what they was doing back then?
Oh, my guys that came under me knew exactly what they was doing. Because I explained it to them.
But you had to explain it to them.
Right, so they knew.
But they knew from you.
But nobody explained it to me. Mine was done by trial and error. One of the things that I learned is that it's better to learn from other people's
mistakes,
trials and error than you have to go through the trials and error.
Absolutely.
So my friends didn't have to go through the same trials and error that I had to go through.
Right.
You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I made sure, you know, I put them all in the backyard of my mama's house, and we sat down and we talked about it. And I explained to them the rules. I showed them how to work a triple beam. I showed them how to cook. It cost me a lot of money to learn how to cook cocaine. I paid like 3 people, $70,000, $80,000 to teach me how to cook cocaine.
So who the fuck taught you how to teach how to cook cocaine, bro? Where did you get that from?
A lot of people. You know, I watched them. You know, you watch them do it, and you know.
So this wasn't connection plug assisted. This was something that the hood.
There was a few people that knew how to do it, and they charged for doing it. And then they would charge me for doing it, and I'd be looking over their shoulder.
Are you familiar with the fact they try to label you with the guy that created the formula for crack cocaine?
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Yo, and where I'm from, everybody thinks that you created this formula.
Nah, they was already doing it when I got started. What I did probably do is I probably was the first. LA Times said I'm the first crack millionaire. I'm the first person that sold crack that made $1 million. So quite naturally, they would think that I did everything in the game, but I wasn't, because there was already people doing it, but they weren't doing it at a high level. You know, they were small time, you know, buy an ounce, cook it up, and never thought about getting a key. But when I got in the game, I didn't want a car, I didn't want a house, I didn't want jewelry, I wanted the key of cocaine.
You wanted to maximize.
Yeah. And then after I got to a key, I said, damn, a key ain't nothing. I need 100 of these motherfuckers. So I started working in to get 100 keys.
Bro, in 2023, to talk about 100 keys is still extreme. You talking about 35 years ago.
And that's when they was 35,000, 40,000 a kilo.
Yo, the prices fluctuate. They damn near that now. In certain places, you pay that right now.
Well, they don't went back up. They like the stock market, I guess.
It definitely is. Depending on who's in office.
Yeah. But that's why I say it was luck for me. You know, it was lucky that my partner introduced me to cocaine. My guy who introduced me to cocaine, I took care of him until I went to jail. He stayed in one of my apartments for the rest of, until I went to jail.
Most of the things people know about you is most people ain't bought a book. I didn't even get a chance to buy the book before we met today. I definitely will after this because I just want to be more familiar with the truth of the guy who.
I got a book in the car.
Man, let me buy.
I got two of them. I got my first autobiography, which my autobiography really. I mean, people slipping on my autobiography, especially young black men because I know. But you know what? I wrote that was like my letter. You know how you sitting in you finna be executed. You feel like you finna be executed, right? And they like, man, you got this your last word. Write your last letter. You know, and that was like my letter to the streets. You know, this is what I saw. This is what I went through, and remember what I said. It's better to learn from other people's trials and error than to have to go through the same trials and error yourself. You know, you can read that book in 3 or 4 days, and you'll get all the knowledge that I got from the dope game in 8 years, plus my jail time, my jail experience as well. Is in there, and then the other one, 21 Keys to Success. You know, that's about me getting out of prison and having to rebuild my life. Yeah,
elevate.
So yeah, I got both of them in the car. Huh?
Yeah, I need both.
I'll grab them. We'll grab them.
I got you. My next question to be to you, bro, was the CIA. So. I first off, I've been dealing with you for a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Met you at a party. We talked, and I felt the vibe. You know, I felt a very humble dude, very, very
real.
Absolute. That would be an understatement, honestly. You know what I mean? Because I've been dealing with Hollywood off and on with the music industry, and Hollywood don't carry themselves like you do. So it was very familiar to me. It felt homish. Yeah. To me. You know what I'm saying? When, I kind of felt your vibe and you was kind of like, yeah, bro, I'm going to come fuck with you, whatever. My point is, at what point did you know that the CIA was involved behind your dealings? And I say that because I want to say this to you, Rick. I feel like you was a fall guy to what a bigger operation going on around you. And then I feel like you was used as a staple to kind of be a hero to us, even though these motherfuckers made billions.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know anything about the CIA. Now I knew my informant was from another country.
But you didn't know he was an informant.
I didn't know he was an informant. Let me try to explain it to you. Sure. I knew he was from another country. Mm-hmm. I knew they had a war going on in their country. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what side of the fence the United States was on. I didn't even know that the United States took an issue in the war. you know what I'm saying? You talking about a young dude from South Central who don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Don't read books.
Yeah.
Don't read newspapers.
Yeah, none of the politics, none of that.
None of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Only politics he knows is street politics.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't red over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Excuse my red. I'm not affiliated. You know what I mean?
Don't wear blue over here. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
If you drive with them Dayton's on, be careful because they will take them motherfuckers from you.
For sure.
So I never had knew none of that stuff until I got arrested. Till he set me up. When he set me up, this dude Gary Webb got in touch with us and told us.
Gary Webb, the guy that shot himself in the head 2 times on the suicide?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Same guy.
Yeah. I find it very hard to kill yourself and then kill yourself again.
Hey, they got a corner that said, somebody that said it could be done.
Yeah. So, and if I pay you the right amount of money, you said that was done.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm
gonna talk my shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's when I found out about the CIA, and
so Gary Webb kind of got you familiar.
Well, no, Gary Webb found me, man, and he was like, man, they're not gonna take you to trial because this dude who who set you up, they can't put him on the witness stand because he knows too much stuff. You know, he's too plugged into their system.
Okay.
Gary was almost willing to bet me that they wasn't going to take me to trial. No, that he wasn't going to testify, and I was like, well, he got to testify because
in order for them to have any power behind.
In order for them to convict me, they couldn't convict me without his testimony.
Yeah.
He was the person that did everything in my case. You know, he set me up. He recorded all the conversations, so they needed him to decode the conversations and all that. You know all the stuff the feds do. Yeah. But anyway, that's all I knew about the CIA. I didn't know nothing about it. You know, I was just a young motherfucker out there. They was giving me great dope, fair prices, and
yeah. But once you get to federal prison, your life is on the line. So now you gotta understand everything that's going on with you. I've seen stories where they said that you weren't even able to read to a certain.
No, I couldn't read when I went to prison, man. But you know, even that, you know, I found out I didn't want to.
When we say you can't read, are we saying that you couldn't literally look at words on a piece of paper and decipher, or you wasn't an avid reader?
I couldn't read at all. You know, I only knew a few words. You know, it is the probably. Those are probably the only words that I knew.
Prior to going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker who make $3 million in a day.
But that don't define you being smart. Not being able to read don't make you.
It absolutely defines you being smart, Rick.
Or dumb.
Yeah.
No,
a dumb motherfucker can't make $3 million in a day, Rick.
Well, selling dope is
a dumb motherfucker can't sell dope.
Yeah, he can.
A dumb motherfucker can't sell.
I know some dummies that sell dope.
Yeah, they don't make $3 million a day, Rick.
Yeah,
they can't make the conversation.
But they could though. They could.
You see it that way because you did it. Reality is,
but I see anybody can do it. I mean, it's only certain steps that you got to do. You got to understand compounding. You know how to compound your money.
It's the same concepts that go with reading or anything else. You got to know the basics and the fundamentals first. You see what I'm saying?
And that's the only thing that they probably liking in their reading. You know, my man, he makes a statement. He said, "What's the difference between the guy who can't read and the guy who won't read?"
He don't want to put the effort in.
But what's the difference between the two?
One guy will give the effort, one won't.
Neither one won't give effort.
They say that. One
can't read, one won't read. When it comes to reading, they both in the same boat. They're not gonna do no reading. Because the guy who you say can't read, if he start putting forth the effort to read, eventually he gonna learn how to do it.
Absolutely.
And the guy who won't read, he probably can't read, so he tell you that he won't read. I can do it, but I ain't gonna do it.
Facts.
So they both the same.
Yeah, facts.
Neither one is putting forth no effort.
Damn.
I don't know, but I found out that I never really cared about reading. When I sit back and I was studying myself in jail, and I was like, damn, why couldn't you read? And I was like, shit, I didn't want to read that shit.
You didn't need it to make money.
Well, there you go. That's it. I wanted to make money. No, I didn't want to read.
Read Floyd Mayweather. Illiterate damn near than a motherfucker. You don't need to read the box.
No.
He made his money from boxing.
Right.
Not from articulating what he read in the book, right?
Exactly.
So I get the concept. My thing is this, right? Your contributions, right? What makes you a legend to urban neighborhoods, right? Makes you an urban legend to us is the amount you did, how you did it, and what you had going on. My thing is, to you, I come from the same elements as you. I've made the same type of mistakes, maybe not the same type of level, right?
Right.
Okay? I don't want to glorify none of that. I don't glorify that on Plug Talk. Plug Talk is not about talking about no motherfucking bricks and shit and all that bullshit, bro. My thing is, with you, it's very pinnacle for us to understand the role the government played and what you had no idea about that they kind of used you on, like almost like a pawn, brother.
They used the whole community.
Of course.
To raise money for a war that they were fighting, that Congress had said they couldn't get money.
And
so they needed some money to come from a source that couldn't be detected. Where's that source? Everybody used drugs. Most people use drugs. You know, the Italians use heroin. You know, the Kennedys use alcohol. I mean, it's just a normal thing that happens in society where people who are trying to be vibrant find illegal means to finance their movements, because we couldn't go to the bank and get. If I could go to the bank and get a loan, I wouldn't need to sell drugs. You know, I would start another business. I'd have went and got my loan and met with.
So let me ask you this: if you knew your proceeds or what you was bringing back to your plug, your connect, was funding Contra, possibly contributing to what Iran and the gun control I had going on with them, would you have participated?
I probably would have. I was young, man. I was 19, 20 years old.
Hey, passes on $2 million a day. I don't give a fuck if you was 50.
Yeah, I was young. I wanted to eat. Y'all got tired of having tennis shoes with holes in them.
Hold on. Did they used to call you? What they used to call you? When you was high, you said your mom bought you a pair of red.
No, that was junior high. They called me Red Shoes Dugan. Remember the Dukes of Hazzard? Yeah.
Red Shoes Dugan.
I can't remember who started calling me that. Cause normally they wouldn't let nobody wear no red shoes at Bret Hart.
Now you was in Crip Hood, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't let you wear no red shoes.
Oh, you was a problem.
Yeah, you'd be a problem. I seen them run dudes off the compound.
You got away with it.
Yeah, they let me slide.
Yeah, you had some roots in that hood.
I was family.
Yeah, you had to be.
Yeah, I was family.
You had to be. You wouldn't be here today if you wouldn't.
No.
Not red shoes Dugan. No, sir. Not in the light there. You might have got away with that shit since daddy. Yeah. It was good. Daddy, not here.
Yeah, no, it was rough. It was rough at Bret Hart. Bret Hart was rough, man.
They give you a lot of shit?
At Bret Hart?
Yeah.
Not me, but, you know, Bret Hart was rough, man.
They gave you a nickname.
Yeah, they did.
They was on your head.
Yeah, not like that, though.
You was a buddy in a lot of jokes, though.
Oh, my goodness.
You was a buddy in a lot of jokes.
My goodness, was I. But we was poor, though. You know, my mom didn't have no money, man. She had bit off a little more than she could chew. You know, bought a house, and she couldn't afford to buy it, and you know, but she made it work.
She made it work.
We had our crib. She was tired of staying in apartments, and she was like, "Man, I gotta get me a house."
Yeah. So yeah. Let me ask you this, man. What do you think about the state of LA today? And if there's anything that's not 100% positive, what do you think needs to happen to make it change?
Well, you know, LA is gentrifying.
Yeah, of course.
You know, LA will in a few years probably be very few blacks living in LA. I remember when there was only 2 or 3 whites lived in LA. There was no Mexicans living in LA. That was a black city. You know, like everywhere you went, it was black. Now, you know, it'd be hard to find blacks in LA right now.
Yeah, I see them every day.
So, it's definitely changing.
So what I mean by change is, right, for us, our community, our culture, what do you think that could be done, should be done in order to make shit better for us here? Unify us here. Well, cause the thing is, the reason why I asked you this, Rick, is because you was able to get brothers together and I've seen some of your prior work, things you said that came from you. You were saying that a lot of people come together to make $1, but you got people to work together for years in order to make them dollars. Yo, that's so hard to do today. Motherfucker cross you for $2 banks.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of it has to do with what we talk about. You know, when I got my award the other day, I watched one of Tupac's documentaries for the first time about 3 weeks ago, man. And Pac said some real profound shit. And I know it goes over a lot of people's head, but it didn't go over my head. He said some shit like this here on the documentary. He said, I'm just a rapper. I'm just an actor. Why is all of this shit happening to me? And what I took from that is that his acting and his rapping poured over into his life. And he started living the act every day because he wanted to be real with it. And that's why all of the gangster stuff started to happen to him in his life.
But Tupac was, and I will say this, right? I'm from the Midwest. I got a bunch of East Coast friends. I got a bunch of West Coast friends. I done traveled abroad throughout this country, so I've been everywhere. The South, the whole nine. Yo, Tupac was living this shit. These other rappers, yo.
But that really wasn't who he was, though.
Okay, can you say that's not who he was? When
he said it. That's what he said.
Yo, but to me, right? Just to me, you know, I never met the guy. Have you ever met him?
No.
You never meet him?
Well, when I had the chance to meet him, he was into it with Joe Cooley, riding on Joe Cooley, and them was my folks, so I didn't want to meet him.
Yeah, I get it. They was just fucking with Death Row and they ended up signing the cat. Well, you was confined at that time.
Yeah.
I get it.
But look what Jada Pinkett said about Pac.
I don't buy it.
But she knew him.
Yeah, but is she the same Jada Pinkett we knew?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I don't really know her.
I don't know her at all neither. But she don't, you know, this ain't different world, Jada Pinkett, bro.
They say Pac went to an acting school.
Yeah.
He ain't from the hood.
Can you say that? That's Baltimore. I don't give a fuck what school you go to. You got to go home to that hood, wherever you live at. And the female was doing drugs. He had to go back to Baltimore hood. Then he moved out to, what was that? Not Marine Valley? Marine Valley up north?
Yeah, went up there when he started with this underground.
Yeah. So it's like, can we say these places ain't the hood just because of the school he went to? I know a lot of motherfuckers that grew up in the hood and they people had roaches, whatever, going on in the crib, but they would pay for that education so their kids wouldn't have to go through the same thing. And I admire that from any you know, adult.
Oh, absolutely.
That's going to try to make sure, a chance. So him having a chance doesn't mean that he wasn't from our elements. But I'll tell you this, ain't a rapper I know from 1980 to now that's going to hop out a car for somebody they don't know and pop at some cops just because they beating on you and you black. So to me, the gangster shit Pac did, you ain't never seen from no other rapper. So if we really look at the real gangster shit that he did, I think it was more of his Black Panther roots.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Black Panther roots. That's what Black Panther would do.
Yeah.
Would jump out and shoot these rappers, these gangster rappers. They ain't finna do that for nobody.
They ain't too gangster.
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was necessarily the gangsterism and it could have been his Black Pantherness.
Well, I think that any of us black guys looked at anything that's stand up or revolutionary, the things that we can salute, as gangster shit, real gangster shit.
Maybe so.
I don't think necessarily selling dope and riding around with pistols on you every day is gangster shit. I think it's really much, and I come from that shit. I've done it myself. I got locked up for it. I think it's kind of goofy. You know what I mean?
Especially in this day and age, it's definitely good.
But I think if you stand for something, you have a purpose. I don't care how young you are, how old you are, what you're into. I think that's real gangster shit. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Gangsters run this country.
I believe it.
In the White House.
And they got principles and things that they...
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And they got bigger guns than anybody in the world.
So I think the concept he had was very dangerous to allow us to believe in. Because if we did...
I mean...
You know what I mean?
Good point.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Well, I was just saying what he said, though. He said that he wasn't a gangster.
That's fine.
He said that he was just acting out these roles in music and in film.
So, was you acting out selling dope, or did you really do it?
I think I was just acting out.
Shit!
That wasn't really me.
Hey man, listen, man.
That wasn't really me though. That ain't who I really am.
Well, okay, listen.
That was just a role I was playing. I saw these other dudes doing it, and I started playing the role that they was playing.
So a bitch go do sex service over the phone. Remember the 1-800 numbers you can call and you can talk. Are they really fucking these motherfuckers? No, they acting it out and they getting paid for it. They gotta do what they gotta do to.
Right, but that don't define who they really are.
It doesn't, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get paid.
Right. No, I'm not arguing that point. I'm saying that because you act out something or because you do something don't mean that that's who you necessarily are.
I don't think anything we could do in life is who we necessarily are. We are who we are.
But it could be though. It could be. You could just be, some people that just.
You said you're not the dope dealer.
Right.
So that's not you.
That's not me. But I'm saying some people take these roles and they make them themselves. They become that role was, and that's who they identify themselves as.
Well, I'm gonna say this:
they got dudes that's 60, 70 years old still cripping.
If they still cripping at 70, are they acting or are they really doing this shit?
They believe that they're crip.
They gotta be if they 70. You can't say how do you say a nigga is 70 years old that's cripping is not a crip? This nigga
No, you can't say he is. If that's what he defined himself as, and that's what he's acting out, then that's what he is.
So everything is an action. Whether I want to be an engineer today, I want to work at a General Motors company.
Right, it's what
I'm not a GM dude, but I'm a guy. I gotta be a GM dude today when I clock in for these 8 hours because this is what's gonna pay me.
Right.
So if we really have to put in the work to get the check like anywhere else, then we can't necessarily say you're not it.
That's who you become.
Absolutely.
You become that
for that bag
that you pursue.
Yeah, whether they make you a monster or
whatever it is.
Yeah.
If that's what you're pursuing, that's who you become.
We've been in prison.
Absolutely.
You had to adjust to the prison lifestyle. You had to become damn near what you would call an inmate.
Yeah. Otherwise you're not gonna make it in that system.
Period. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you adapt to your environment. And that's all I'm saying.
Well, you can live in the environment, but you don't have to become.
Well, it's the difference between being an inmate and being institutionalized. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? So you can be an inmate, because that's what you got to be until your time is up. But to be institutionalized means that you don't know how to do anything else but this. Which means you ain't going to survive in society. You probably going to be back.
Possible.
Most institutionalized people are what they call the revolving door. Am I correct?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, I can argue with that. Yeah, I can argue with that.
So let me ask you this question, man. After your sister's incarceration, man, have you had any roadblocks because of felony, resume, reputation? Like, has there been any hardships?
Not really. I mean, I've had a couple times where people was gonna book me. They thought I was a rapper.
You damn.
And you know who did it? Even Russell Simmons called me one day.
Not as the rapper.
Yeah, he called me. Hey, Rick.
Fuck.
Hey, Rick. I got a movie. I want you to be in. And I was like, yeah. And I'm all excited. I done got all excited and shit. And he said, and you probably can even do a song on the soundtrack. You know how Russell talks. And I was like, Russ, you got the wrong Rick Ross.
As soon as he said song, you knew.
Yeah, I said, you got the wrong Rick Ross, Russell.
What did he say after that? Like,
oh, sorry, man.
Did he know we was talking to him?
He knew. Yeah, we had talked before. He had signed my dudes, South Central Cartel.
Yeah.
You remember South Central Cartel? Absolutely. Havoc and Prodigy. Them was my guys. Pride said he started DJing in my backyard on my turntables. So I was messing with them, and they introduced me to Russell. But yeah, that's about it. A couple colleges, called and wanted me to do some stuff. Preachers of LA, I was gonna be on Preachers of LA. They found out that it was me and not the rapper. And they said, "Oh, you talking about the real guy?" Oh no, we can't have a real guy on our program either. Stuff like that, yeah.
So let me ask you this.
And then John Singleton still in Snowfall. I imagine John, when he went to him, he probably told him that he had me, but they didn't want to work with me.
So you think that was maybe the interference between you and John, and maybe he just didn't want to say something to you? Maybe.
No, I think John probably wanted to bring me in, but the networks probably
was scared of you.
Was scared of me. Yeah.
So would you consider that a roadblock?
Kind of, but roadblocks is to be gone over, under, around, or through.
Yeah. So that's up for you to do.
Yeah,
that don't mean they won't pop up.
Yeah, they might pop up, but it's our job to get around them, or over them, or under them, or through them.
Absolutely.
We don't sit there and say, "Oh man, a roadblock."
Yeah.
I'll stop right here.
When he created a wedge between you and him, and maybe it was something he didn't communicate to you properly. But so let me ask you this: how realistic was Snowfall to your life? And then let me ask you this on the cross, man. The time you and John spent together, what do you think he took from you? Because I seen. Damn, what's the guy?
With the whole concept.
Yeah.
The concept.
So John tried to tell a couple of other guys that act that this was just, his life growing up in the area.
He told me it was his cousin. He told me that. I ran into him one day. I was at a Red Grant birthday party.
His cousin did the numbers you did.
Right before he died.
Mm-hmm.
And he was coming up, and I was coming down the stairs, and we ran into each other, and he just, "Oh, Rick, man, I got some money for you, and I'm gonna bring you on the set," and just the whole 9 yards. But it ain't your story; it's my cousin's story. And I was pissed when he said that because I knew he was lying. Like, come on, motherfucker, stop lying. But I know he was intimidated. I had a couple guys with me.
I'm sure.
And he probably was a little intimidated by that.
It's talking about USC.
But nobody else has ever nobody has ever had CIA involvement with crack.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
My story was the first time any major newspaper ever published a story on the internet. It was the first time blacks went to the internet in droves. Because this is the beginning of the internet. When my story broke, it was still the beginning of the internet. It was
actually prior to, honestly, before.
It was prior. The story hit prior to the internet really booming, but that story really boomed for blacks on the internet. I mean, they went crazy. So it was so much, young guy, South Central,
Maxine.
He tried to mix it up. I mean, they did a good job mixing it up, but
they didn't really.
I mean, you can't really mix the story. I mean, anybody that can see.
I'm gonna be honest behind it. If you know anything about you and your history, there's no way you can see Snowfall, at least for the first 2 seasons, and not be like, oh, this is his story. Yeah. Tennis player. Did you play tennis?
Yep.
Oh, I was just making sure.
Flew airplanes.
I was gonna go down the list, Rick.
I mean, there's a lot in there.
Yeah, like, come on, bro.
There's a lot in there.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I mean, you know, it's one thing to be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna have my homie back because this guy might have put me in position. I see why some of the actors say that shit. But the reality of it is, if you know the history that I know coming from the elements that I come from, we know your story. Yeah. And that shit's too identical. This is what's funny, bro. I never watched past the second season of Snowfall because by the time I got to the second season, I was familiar with some of the podcasts you did, and I know you wasn't really feeling the whole situation. And I was like, yo, I can't support this shit.
No, I wasn't feeling it at all.
Yeah,
I mean, because it perpetuates the same bullshit that they always perpetuate with us on TV shows, you know.
And never the growth, never the after element. Most of the guys that's done what you're doing are either dead or they're in a position where they can't tell their story. You out here, you able to tell your story, and then damn, it's like you gonna pitch some shit without me being involved to be able to put the growth element with it.
Yeah.
So you could have added a whole
real spin.
Yeah, they think Snowfall's the shit. What if Snowfall actually involved your production, your direction? You know what I'm saying? Now we talking about a whole different ball game on Snowfall.
Yeah.
And y'all thought that was a hit.
But we're gonna do it. You know, the movie. We working on the movie right now. You know, we still putting that together. The movie gonna be a masterpiece. I just come from France. They finna turn the book into French. Yeah, so we gonna cross the waters. They say blacks don't sell overseas. So
shit.
So we gonna see about that.
All the records and all them rappers going overseas. We motherfuckers said y'all was in the hip hop game.
But they said black movies don't sell overseas.
Shit.
That's the story they tell.
Yeah, alright. Sounds mythical to me. Let me tell y'all this, man. It was a pleasure. It was an honor. Just even speaking with you to get this all put together, bro, it gave me a better understanding of what type of real man that you are. Fuck everything else prior to. And I salute you, good brother. Much respect.
I appreciate you, man.
This was a great moment for me, man. This is Plugtalk4. For the Plugtalk owner, I'm going to buy that off of his ass, too.
You can get it, too. Hey, you can get it. I got you.
My God. Peace and blessings, y'all.